Hello there. I'm History of the Flash, but you could call me JD.
And ahoy in the comic book Hunter, also known as just Hunter.
And this is a Hero Story, episode 117. Welcome.
Hey.
A Hero Story is a show where we talk all things comics. That includes comic book movies, comic book animation, comic book video games, comic books themselves. You name it, we probably talk about it. Today's show has most of those subjects coming up. There was the release of a good comic book video game. Well, I assume it's good. I mean, I don't know if it's, I haven't
Good
played it.
opposed to the last comic book video game, which there is news about that we'll talk about
There's news
later on.
about but the release of Miles Morales Spider-Man coincides with this podcast, as well as the release of the PS5, which Hunter, our very own Hunter, was not lucky enough to get, unfortunately.
I tried so hard.
Hunter tried. See, I accepted my fate a long time ago that I just wasn't going to get the PS5 right away, and I knew I wasn't going to get it right away. So I'm like, I'm not going to go through the heartbreak like a lot of my friends will be. Looking at you, Tyler.
Yeah.
But yeah, so PS5 is out, Miles Morales is out. But yeah, we're gonna get into all of that in this episode, and we're gonna start with the news, which is of course Hunter's section. So Hunter, without further ado, take it away.
Thank you. For those who don't care about the news, real quick, and want to skip to the comics
description, skip ahead.
Look in the timestamps in the description below. You can skip ahead, but for those just curious what comics we're reviewing this week, we are reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man issue 52, Iron Man number 3, The Flash number 765, and Superman number 27. But anyways.
Before we even get into any of that,
okay.
We hit our goal on Indiegogo of the Price a Hero Pays comic.
Yeah.
Our comic, if you live under a rock, is called The Price a Hero Pays. It's going to be a 3-issue trade. And we've been working on it since, how long have we been working on this now?
We started technically in June with the first idea concept art and whatnot.
Yeah. It's been a while now. It's set to release in January 2021. You can still back it, Indiegogo, and search up The Price a Hero Pays, or just go on our website, herostorycomics.com. But it's been a joy to work on. The scripts are mostly done now. The art is getting there on mostly done, and
issue 3 is starting. So
it's been a ton of fun to work on, but we hit our goal, which is definitely very inspiring to both of us. Listen, we're just two kids who started comic accounts, started a podcast, and now are starting our own comic company. So it's been a ton of fun. We appreciate all of your support, even just listening to the podcast. We appreciate that support. So from us to you, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we put out this Indiegogo September, end of September, I believe. And it's so great that we hit our goal with time to spare too. I was kind of thinking that it would be last second we might hit it, but we got about a week and a half left by the time this episode's out. So thank you. I mean, we've both been working so much on this book. I myself, I'm doing art. I've been working on it literally every single day. I don't think I've gone a day without The Price Hero Pays on my mind. Because it needs to come out. I'm passionate about this.
and this is why I like being the writer, because I could go many days without it being on my mind. Kidding.
Yeah.
The writer is always thinking, right? I got to say some clever stuff to cover for myself. The writer is always thinking about the story. No, but we've been working very hard on it, including our partner Drew at Dennis Designs on Instagram. Check him out. He's great. He's been doing a lot of great work with us, and yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I really can't wait for you guys to read the comic and definitely give us some feedback. Listen, it's our first comic, so I don't expect it to be perfect, but
it's our first real comic.
First real comic. We did a mini comic for Comixology, but yeah, I think it's gonna come out great, and I can't wait to have it on my shelf. I mean, it's gonna be pretty crazy having my own name.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you have trades at home, you just put it right there, and I assume we're gonna get a spine with the title on it. A trade.
As the one who's doing the printing, I actually have no idea. I haven't done that much research on the printing other than the cost of it, but I think I can edit the spine. Hopefully I can edit the spine
just for the title alone,
and obviously put our names on there.
Yeah,
the title and our names and all that stuff. But yeah, so that's the update on The Price a Hero Pays. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Now on to the regular podcast episode, starting with the news of the week. So for those of you just joining us, we go over the news of the week, starting with live action news. We then head over to gaming news and comic news. There's a little bit of news in all these categories. Usually we don't have many in comics or gaming sometimes, or we have a lot in one category, not a lot in the other, but little bits of things in all of ours. So starting with live action news of the week, WandaVision has a release date, and it's not 2020. It's going to be January 15th, and it's going to be 6 1-hour long episodes releasing weekly. Not 2020, though, like they said.
Meaning that 2020 will be the first year with 0 MCU content since 2009.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think of that. Huh.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, well, at least we're getting it in January or in December. And even people at Marvel were saying, yeah, it's coming out in December. But here we are, almost the middle of November. Geez, almost the middle of November. And still no release date until today. And it's coming January. So we'll have to wait a little bit longer. But I'm really excited for this in general. So I'm just glad we finally have a release date because we've known about this show for 2 years now. And we're finally getting a release date after it's been done filming for almost a year, I feel like. So, you excited?
Listen, I'm not the biggest TV show watcher. I'm more of a movie guy. I don't really watch that much TV shows. I'll probably check this out because I feel like I kind of have to. But
Yeah, you do.
but yeah. So hopefully it's good.
I mean,
It looks interesting.
It's got movie quality. WandaVision episode 1 was actually filmed with a secret live audience, and the majority of that episode is going to be in black and white. Now, they said majority of the episode, meaning we're probably going to get some looks at what's really happening, and we're going to get color there, because WandaVision is very much like some stories like Tom King's The Vision, House of M, Avengers Disassembled, and in some of those stories, like Avengers Disassembled, the Scarlet Witch thinks she's living in a happy life with her kids and her husband, and everything's fine. And it's all classic and a little creepy, the perfect American dream. But in reality, she's killing the Avengers. So we'll see if they follow that path or they go somewhere else. But I guarantee you they're going to follow what you see isn't really happening. This is WandaVision, meaning Wanda's vision, maybe. I'm excited. Going on to the next bit of news for live action, there was a rumor about a week ago that Emilia Clarke was going to be replacing Amber Heard as Mera for Aquaman 2. Those rumors were denied because earlier this week, Amber Heard came on and said that she is excited to film Aquaman 2 within the next few months, I believe, is when it starts filming. There's a petition to get rid of her. On Wednesday, I believe it crossed 1 million signatures. So will Warner Brothers keep this? I kind of feel like they won't. Like,
I mean, listen, I was kind of surprised when they fired Johnny Depp just because I didn't think that they were going to take sides on this. But yeah, maybe they're going to clear house on both. I mean, it's certainly possible.
because as far as I know, I feel like even the cast members like Jason Momoa wouldn't want to work with her maybe, or might say, can we get someone else? And I really like the idea of Emilia Clarke playing Mera. I feel like she would really nail the character despite being a little short for a Zabellian princess. But
How tall is Emilia Clarke?
I thought she was small. I could be wrong. Just seeing her like Game of Thrones next to Jason Momoa, it's quite the height difference there. I don't know how tall she actually is, but
I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I'll have to look.
Oh, really?
Well, I watched the pilot and I felt like I needed a notebook, so I was like, "Bye." She's 5'2", which is very short.
That is very very short. And Jason Momoa is like
to put in a comparison.
9'2".
To put in a comparison, Hunter is over a foot taller than Emilia Clarke.
Yeah, literally. So, I didn't even think of that. So yeah, that is quite short. But I was okay with the casting, even though it turns out those rumors were just false in the end. Where Amber Heard is going to be in the Snyder Cut. She went about 2 weeks ago to film some new scenes as Mera for Zack Snyder, and then this week Zack Snyder posted a picture.
Which brings up the question of Ray Fisher's whole thing here of accountability over entertainment. Yet he was filming with Amber Heard.
Well, I don't think they have any scenes together, but
my point being, if it is all about accountability as opposed to entertainment, shouldn't he have made a stand and said, "I'm not going to film if she's going to be there"?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I thought it was accountability over entertainment. Only when it's Jeff Johns, I guess.
Yeah, only when it's Jeff Johns. Speaking of the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder recently posted a picture on his phone using a camera Martian Manhunter concept art. Martian Manhunter is apparently going to be in the Snyder Cut, and I mean,
It's 100%
concept.
got to be the general, right? From Man of Steel and BVS.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was already confirmed.
Oh, okay, cool. That's something I've wanted for since Man of Steel. So
Yeah, I feel like that was
I don't
confirmed.
think Tyler and Harper are gonna be happy about that. But
It's fine. I mean, the concept art, it looks like Martian Manhunter. I feel like there's a character that if you change the design, it's like, why bother? It's a green alien. I mean, he looks like what do you think he looks like? He looks like the Supergirl Martian Manhunter, which looks like Martian Manhunter. So, yay, it's good, I guess. We have to see the real thing to find out for sure.
yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
it's literally just a picture off his phone, so it's not the best thing.
and it's not like a screenshot from the movie or anything. It's art made before the movie even started filming, probably. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, that's the little bits of live action news. On to, I guess let's do comic news next, actually, and then we'll get into the gaming news. For comic news, Brian Michael Bendis hinted at something in the Instagram comments. Someone asked him on his Instagram if he will still be writing Superman after he's done his final issue, which is about a month from now. And then DC Future State, he's only writing Legion of the Superheroes. Brian Michael Bendis replied saying, "Yeah, I am still writing Superman," he said in quotes. So like Superman. What does this mean? JD, what does this mean?
My guess is that he's writing the John Kent Superman, as it's not full Superman, but it's the Superman that's taking the spot. To which I cringe at the thought of, given that the last time he's written John Kent is that's a fabulous jacket to to
Yeah.
Superboy. Oh God.
Yeah, he doesn't really, he's not the greatest at John, I find. When he said Superman, yeah, okay, actually, I was gonna say maybe Justice League, but I think you might be more right here. I could totally see him writing like a solo John Kent series. John Kent is getting a Future State
And he was the
series.
one who was very happy with aging John up. So aging John up some more to become
He was the
Superman
one
is.
who did age John up.
But I'm
So
saying like he was like the one who like he moved forward with it. So I'm saying like I'm sure he's more than fine with them aging him up again to be Superman. I don't know. I don't like this.
that's so weird. John,
Ugh.
in our time, like how long we've seen John Kent in real life, it's 5 years. And he's already 17, and he might be aging to like 20 now. Damian Wayne, in our time, we've seen Damian Wayne for 20 years, 19 years, something like that, and he's 13. So it goes to show, like, you're just missing so many stories with young John. But yeah, we've talked about this before.
We
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 both would
we
rather
we
John.
we've yelled about this before.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Mister, I'm reading every future state title. How do you
Mm,
feel about Bendis writing John Kent Superman?
I don't. Well, he's not writing the Future State title for John. I know that. I'll be reading that one. Superman, Man of
Wait, he's
Metropolis,
not
I think.
writing the future
He's not
state.
writing the Future State one, but he's likely going to be going on when Future State ends in March and everything gets relaunched.
Boof.
So, Future State books are actually just going to be either solo titles or like 4 issues max for a series. So we'll see what happens here. I don't think I'll be reading every single title for Future State, but a good majority for some reason. So we'll wait and see what happens. Last bit of comic news is the next Avengers arc by Jason Aaron will follow his arc that he was doing a lot for the Thor comics about the Phoenix. The Phoenix has returned. For those who don't know, the Phoenix is basically a giant firebird from space that not consumes, but energizes people to become the Phoenix. When you're the Phoenix, you're basically the most powerful
Kind of like a
character in
symbiote in a
Marvel.
sense.
Kind of like a symbiote. Yeah, you become that thing. You're still in control, kind of, but you're also like extremely powerful. This Phoenix melted Asgard. Just look at it that way. Just by being near it, it melted Asgard. It could melt planets. It could burn a god to smithereens just with a snap of his fingers, basically. Only a few Marvel characters have actually been able to control the Phoenix. So now that he's coming to the Avengers, Jason Aaron so far has shown that 4 characters are going to control this. Those characters are Jane Foster, who is going to be in this arc, which has me very interested because I find Jason Aaron writes a fantastic Jane Foster. He's the one that wrote the Female Thor series. Uh, She-Hulk is also going to consume the Phoenix, which I'm like, okay, I guess gamma radiation. That's a good excuse.
I hated She-Hulk in that series.
Yeah, I did too. So we'll have to wait and see. T'Challa, so Black Panther will be consuming it. I don't know how I feel about that, but when you look at the concept art, he gets like a black and gold suit and it looks so cool. So I'm like, all right, fair enough. And the last person is actually someone who kind of consumed it before, and it's Wolverine. So in Jason Aaron's Thor run, in his King Thor series, before King Thor, like every once in a while in his 9-year Thor run, he went like to the end of the world and there's only like a handful of Marvel characters alive. One of those characters alive was Wolverine, who was in control of the Phoenix. So it looks like we're going to see Wolverine's first encounter to the Phoenix in here. So yeah, I might pick up Avengers for this actually, just because I really enjoyed every Phoenix arc.
I didn't know you dropped it.
Yeah, I did.
I thought you had still been reading it.
A little too much focus on Ghost Rider to me, and I felt like it. I feel like for Avengers and Justice League 2, your story should be like either, hey, everyone's getting along and just doing casual things and just fighting crime as a team, or and the world, like consequences are going to happen. This may affect other books, kind of scenarios. I feel like Jason Aaron's Thor didn't do that except for the first arc with Celestials. Besides that, it just all felt like filler. So I dropped it. But this Phoenix arc sounds really cool. So I'll be reading that probably. And you dropped it too, right?
Yeah, I dropped it before you did. I think by issue 14, maybe 15, somewhere around there.
Okay. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I might pick it up for this. And I'm just going to lead into issue 52. So issue 50 might be big as well. And yeah, that's it for the comic news. Now on to gaming news. I guess we'll talk about the Avengers stuff first. Avengers, the game that came out in September that we reviewed on the podcast. Well, kind of. It lost $62 million.
Oh,
you were the one who told me this. I didn't even actually realize that. So
yeah.
You want to talk about this first?
Yeah. They had a financial report, I guess, and yeah, they lost $62 million on the video game, which is pretty abysmal. Given that, you know, the Arkham series and Spider-Man PS4 broke records in their sales, this is extremely disappointing. This is not good, and
this is not good.
Because that could be memed actually. If someone
I was about to say that
could be memed.
Just your
maybe I'll
this is not good.
This is not good. Listen, because I think that's, you know, these companies, these studios, everything, they base everything off of how the market reacts, right? So, you know, a superhero movie start doing well, more superhero movies pop up. Superhero video games start doing well, superhero video games pop up. A video game loses $62 million. Now there's going to be some companies that are like, do I really want to take a chance on a Superman game? Do I really want to take a chance on a Justice League game? You know, like this is not good for other games. Now, whether you had problems or not with Avengers, I thought it was a fine game. I mean, I could see why some people don't like it, but I thought overall it was a fine game. It's not good for the genre.
Let's kind of break down why it did so poorly. Because Miles Morales released as we're recording today, and pretty much everyone who bought a PS5 got Miles Morales. And a ton of people with a PlayStation 4 got it too.
Well, so that was one of the things that I thought about when Avengers came out, was why not wait a few more months and just make it on PS5?
I mean, it's going to be coming to PS5 too, but it's not going to be
right. But being there with launch, the thing about being a launch game is you get automatic sales just from being the only game in town. Like,
yeah,
I remember when PS4 came out, there were only a handful of games that were actually on the PS4, so they sold extremely well just because they were the only things out. So if you had a PS4, you're like, all right, I have to buy this, so I have something to play. So I think that it would have been smarter to wait for the actual PS5 launch, and I feel like it would have done better. Although you don't want to rival the Miles Morales Spider-Man, but still, I think you would have done decent. I also think that there was a lot of, like, the game didn't feel ready yet. It felt like there were a lot of glitches.
Yeah, big time.
like a lot of problems with the game.
I
It
mean, a
felt
month
like
after
it needed.
release, they released that patch that fixed over 1,000 glitches.
Yeah,
Why would you release a game with 1,000 glitches in the first place? So yeah,
beyond me. So I think that was part of it. And I don't know. I guess maybe it goes into graphics as well. A lot of people didn't like the graphics. I didn't think that they were
I
that
don't think they
bad,
were that
but
bad either.
I
Yeah,
know that was a lot of people's problems with it. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a game that deserved to lose 62 million.
no. When you have an IP like the Avengers, it's crazy that you do lose that much money. This
I
seems like
think
an
I
instant
honestly
buy.
think it just has to do with the time period that it came out. I mean, it's a weird time at the end of PS4. Like I know some of my friends who didn't buy it because they were like, I'm getting rid of my PS4 in a few months anyway. I'm not buying any new games for it. And I was like, yeah, I kind of understand that.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I think it's the timing, but also breaking down when this game was first announced, all they did was show a trailer like Fade to Black, Fade to Captain America's Shield, Fade to Black, Fade to Thor's Hammer, and then it brought the hype because people were like, "Oh my god, they're making an Avengers game." And then first reveal, it didn't look that good, like the graphics wise. And then first gameplay, it looked very slow, looked very clunky. And then by the time the game is out, bad reviews all around for it being both glitchy, a short story, very, very repetitive. So people are like, okay, I don't want a game like that. So they don't buy it. We bought it. I kind of agree that it was glitchy. It was short and it was extremely repetitive. I enjoyed it, but I feel like I enjoyed it more to the comic book fan rather than a video game fan.
A gun to your head, was it worth the what you spent 60? Was it worth the 60, $65?
Well, I'm in Canada, so 79.
Boof. Was it worth
Yeah.
the money?
Um, Not at the time, but I think it will be worth the money a year from now when glitches are
Like,
fixed and characters are added.
but that's terrible for a video
Yeah,
game.
I know because
I
there
mean,
was that leak that came out that like 20 characters are being added to this game. We know Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and
but also
Spider-Man are
like
coming.
why are you adding characters so late? The game's already dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Kate Bishop was supposed to release like start of October, and here we are 2 weeks into November, and she still hasn't come out.
Like I don't know. This like I think that, Spider-Man PS4 had the advantage of I wanted to play it even after I finished it. Like just swinging around the city was awesome and
Mhm.
doing little side missions here and there. I, Avengers, once I finished the story, I was kind of just like, okay, I'm done.
They have like
Like,
yeah, on release like that opening week, they had like 3 missions they could do after, and then you just have to repeat them, repeat and repeat them in order to get new suits. And that's cool how they added new suits into the game, but a lot of them are just like either originals or just like, oh, here's Captain America's suit, but in a different color kind of thing. And a
yeah,
lot of people were just like, can we get like suits from maybe the MCU, like Spider-Man PS4 does, or from
like
comic
the
books?
comics, yeah.
Like there's like what 20 Captain America suits and not a single one is his comic suit. I find that so weird with like the chainmail and like the weird boots and stuff. I wanted to
Yeah.
dress like that, but they didn't have that. So it's odd in that case, and the fact that it's slow and clunky, and then like you said, I was gonna say it's dying, but at this point it's practically
It's
dead.
dead. It's
And
dead.
there's
I don't
20
hear anyone talking
characters they're
about it.
gonna add. Like I'll still be playing when characters are added. I'm pretty excited for Kate Bishop, and I'm curious how Spider-Man's going to play. We know Black Panther is also going to come eventually, and I'm guarantee other characters like Captain Marvel.
They're just taking so long on this, and I wonder if the
Mhm.
$62 million loss has any account into. Now we don't have the money to put these extra characters in, like some of them at least.
Yeah, so I bet Kate Bishop and Hawkeye will 100% release, and Spider-Man too, because they advertised before the game was out. Hey, buy it on PlayStation, you'll get
PlayStation
Spider-Man,
exclusive, yeah.
which was stupid. But yeah, comparing it to
Stupid. Why
games
is
like,
that stupid?
I mean, you're advertising it before it's out, like, oh, everyone buy on PlayStation and so long Xbox users kind of thing. But
Yeah, that's how it should be. PlayStation supremacy.
okay, yeah, okay.
Been on PlayStation since I was a kid.
Yeah, fair
PlayStation.
enough. I'm a PlayStation guy too, but fair enough. It's just when you're comparing it to games like Spider-Man, like you said, you could run around. Well, in this game, it would have been so much better if you could free roam. Can you imagine if you just free roam around a city as any character and it has the momentum and the fluid as like Spider-Man PS4, even Arkham Knight, which I thought
Yeah.
found had great fluid for just running around. Even if you're a character like Captain America, you can't fly, you can't swing, but maybe you can ride a motorbike around, kind of thing. So what a disappointment.
And that's why I lost $62 million.
Yeah. Miles Morales isn't a disappointment though, and that came
I,
out.
I mean, I mean, I had friends asking me like, "Oh, should I get Avengers?" And I was kind of just like, unless you really want it, I'd save your money.
Yeah, it's like some characters are fun. I've talked to a lot of people who play this game. People have their mains. I like playing as Thor. Our friend Comic Boy Tyler, he was on the show last week. He loves playing Captain America. He said, "Who do you play for the most part?"
I like Iron Man a lot.
So yeah, people have different play styles that fit this game. So that's cool.
Like I
There's
actually kind of like Hulk too, even though he's kind of stupid.
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's cool how they were able to make unique move sets. But yeah. Anyways, Miles Morales came out this week, and that was awesome. Well, it is awesome so far. So we'll likely be doing a full review of Miles Morales PS5/PS4 next week's episode.
Yeah,
JD's probably going to buy it this week. I already bought it.
probably this weekend. I mean, probably in the next few days.
Mm-hmm. After being up till 3 a.m. trying to get the PS5, didn't work. Pain. And then I woke up at 7 a.m. the next morning to try again. And I got out of my cart twice, and I was like, oh my God, I did it. I finally did. Didn't work. Pain. So I
Yeah,
decided I'm going to
agony.
give up. I'm like, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to give this. And I really want to play Miles Morales. So I bought it on my PlayStation 4 instead. And I'm 2 hours in. I understand it's a very short game, and that's bothering me a lot because I'm loving the story a lot so far. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to finish this in like 2 days. But it's awesome so far. I mean, you haven't played it yet, but just I'm not gonna do a full review, just gonna give my first thoughts comparing it to Spider-Man PS4. Momentum's so much better. I find, in Spider-Man PS4 you could like fly up into the air or like swing up into the air and then you hold down the buttons and like flip around kind of thing.
Mhm.
And this it feels so much better. Like I felt like that you could do front flips, back flips, and side flips, and that's it. This you could go all over the place. I feel like the animation it's very different to Peter's, but it's very fun. And story alone, like I'm very low into it, but Miles's reaction to things feels very human. Like it was already announced the first boss fight is Rhino, and during that fight,
See, Rhino.
yeah. During that fight, Miles is panicking and it feels real. And you hear the music come in and it's like very intense and it's very, very Spider-Man with those violins coming in. But the whole time you're fighting with Peter and Peter's in the background. He's just like, all right, Miles, you gotta be on my back here. You gotta stay with me, calm down. And Miles is like, Peter, this is like really bad. Like this is bad. Like people are dying. This is not good. I don't like that. It shows how new he is. And the animation alone, like when you're swinging on a web, sometimes he spins a little bit, like he can't really control himself. And so good so far.
Uh, Now the new Peter. What do you?
Oh, the new face.
What's your take on it?
So I forgot about it first off. So I'm playing, and the first cutscene when he takes his mask off, I was like, oh yeah. I miss the old one big time. That being said, I kind of got used to it. I mean, you see you see Peter masked off quite a few times so far, and I kind of got used to it. And so, like the first game, how people could call Peter and it shows their little face from their phone in like the corner when you're swinging. So Peter called me at one point when I'm swinging around, and you see his
I like
face.
how casually you just said that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a Pete. Pete calls me.
Pete. Yeah, so Pete, the spider guy, he calls me, right?
Gives me a call.
Yeah,
I'm swinging around the city and this guy calls me.
he dials me up, right? And he says, hey, Morales, where you at? Uh, well, his little face appeared, right? And it's this new model. And I didn't really even notice at first, but while I was talking to him, then I looked, I'm like, oh, right, his face changed. It's not as bad as I thought
I
it
still
would
hate it.
be.
I still hate
I
it.
missed the old one, 100%.
And but even me, I don't even like the old one that much. I thought the old one was kind of ugly. I don't think either one really does justice to Peter Parker.
Well, I like the old one because he wasn't that good looking, because he's this
Oh,
guy.
don't get me wrong. I don't expect him to be a pretty boy. I just thought the animation wasn't great on his face.
I kind of like how it bags under his eyes. I mean, this is a
That
guy
was a good touch.
who has like he's struggling for an underpaid job. He's going out at night and getting punched in the face like every single night. So I liked how he looked tired. And this guy doesn't look like he's seen a stressful day in his life. And plus Miles looks older than him. So that bothers me a lot. But I mean, so far so good. The game's good. That's my main takeaway of this. And I can't wait for you to play it. And I can't wait to go back to playing it and beating it. And then we could talk about it on next week's episode, hopefully.
Yeah, next week's episode will probably be titled Miles Morales Spider-Man PS5 or PS4 review.
Yeah, in this case. I mean, it's so good and the music's fantastic. But yeah, that's all I'll say for now. I'll leave my full
The sound
thoughts.
I've listened to the soundtrack. It is top tier.
It is really good.
Like that is like goated, like up there with, you know, like the best of Spider-Man, like Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman stuff. Like it's that good.
It's like they just start playing like the PS4 soundtrack, which I found was also really good. Spider-Man PS4. And like, what if we like combine this with Miles' Spider-Verse music taste? And it's like, dang, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's really good, especially when we're swinging around. But yeah, great game so far. Well, I'll say my more full thoughts for next week's episode. But yeah, now that's it for the news of the week.
All right, cool. Welcome to the comics of the week.
Roughly 30 minutes in.
Roughly 30 minutes in. What is your pick of the week and what is your cover of the week?
I didn't think that.
My cover of the week is Superman 27. I love the negative space of Superman kind of just floating around in the nothingness. I think that came out really, really good. It seems like it's like the perfect one to get like something sketched on or signed on. Like it's just,
Ooh,
you know,
I didn't even think of that.
It's meant for like gold marker. Like it looks so good. As for my pick of the week, I don't know, maybe Spider-Man.
Okay. Glad you're finally reading Spider-Man.
Yes, I have finally caught up. For the listeners of A Hero Story, I have finally gotten to it, and it's about time. I know.
Yeah. My cover of the week will probably be Superman as well. It's really cool cover. That was just a lot of negative space. My pick of the week is Iron Man #3, though.
Love an Iron Man.
You gotta read it, and I will explain why when we get to it.
Maybe when the first trade comes out, I'll give it a shot.
That's what I'm doing with Donny Cates Thor. So, oh yeah, Donny Cates Thor will be reviewed on A Hero Story by weekly issues by myself and hopefully JD eventually, starting probably next issue, because the trade comes out this week and I have all the issues after the trade. So going on a little binge pretty quick. Anyways, what do you want to start with? Do you want to do Superman?
Yeah. My main takeaways from Superman, kind of loved the Lana and Lois interaction.
I just flipped to it.
I don't know. Yeah. I've always felt that's kind of untapped potential in comics. I feel like they haven't really touched on Lana Lang. I told you my Elseworlds story idea for Superman, right?
Explain. Maybe
I have an Elseworld idea for a Superman story that I want a world where Clark actually never meets Lois, that he ends up with Lana, and as Superman, he never really becomes like a full Superman. He becomes kind of like a shadow of what he would be, because with Lana, he never really has the confidence to go out there and be that hero. And like I change it up. Like he'd probably like wear a mask because like he's that like shy and like he's not like the hero he's meant to be. And I would have Lois with Lex Luthor, and he would be like dominating like he'd be like Jeff Bezos, but like he'd also be like president, and he would be like he would just be top level because Lois keeps pushing him to be better. And yeah, I think there's a Superman story to be told there. I don't have it all cooked out yet, but that's the basic premise of it. So yeah. Okay. But anyway, because I feel like Lana in comics is just not touched on enough. So that's why I want to write that Elseworld story, because I think that it could kind of show what is Lana's impact on Superman. So yeah. Anyway,
the end in today's like in canon, she was Superman's high school crush, and that's about it. And Superwoman for 2 years, 2016, 2017, she was Superwoman, but that's about it.
I love when she's gonna edit or she's gonna read Lois's unread book, and she goes, "Oh, there's a typo," and Lois goes, "I'm sure there is." That's a perfect dialogue exchange right there, because Lois is famous for typos. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Superman was pretty interesting in this issue. I liked at the end when the alien thing he's beating the crap out of starts talking to him, and I thought the art was really good for him, his kind of reaction. Of course it was. Yeah, I have reason art. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'm just realizing this. I actually really like this issue. Like, yeah, it was a good issue. This is probably the first Superman issue I've liked in a while. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a very good issue. Yeah. I
So
don't.
it kind of
There's not that much breakdown for me because I kind of just feel like you kind of just got to read it and that's kind of just it. But it was
it
good. I liked
it's
it.
mostly Superman versus Simar. Is that his name?
Yeah.
This new alien that no one's ever heard of before, fighting in the Phantom Zone, and which is fine. I mean, it's a fine idea for an issue, but it's done really well because Superman's not trying to fight; he's trying to talk the whole time because he doesn't know why they're fighting. It's not like Darkseid just came to Earth and blew up a city. I'm gonna fight you. This guy is just like, wait, why are you fighting me? So it's cool that the entire time he's trying to talk to this guy, and turns out he ends up talking to him in front of an orange sun, which is I didn't really understand this. Is that depowering Superman or making him even more powerful?
I was wondering that myself because I know the yellow sun gives him powers, the red sun gives him no powers. Orange is kind of in the middle, so maybe kind of weakened.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on there, but he basically starts shaking when he sees the orange sun, and it's kind of just left in space. So at first I thought it was getting more powerful, but maybe not. Huh. We'll have to wait and see. To be continued in Bendis's final issue on Superman, I believe is the next one.
Is it?
It's either the next one or the one after, but I'm pretty sure it's the next one.
Oh, I didn't know that. Who's writing after?
Well, then it's Future State.
Oh shit, that's close.
Yeah, it's very close. So we'll have
Wow.
to wait and see. But
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
what do
Yeah.
you rate Superman?
Like a 9. I actually really enjoyed this issue. I found
Yeah, I'll
myself
give it a 9
smiling.
too.
I found myself smiling while reading it.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
Uh, just to get the next DC one, Flash. I think Shinnek's approach to Flash is kind of like, what can I look at in Flash lore that's like an interesting thing, like a wording of something, and how can I make that interesting? So like one of the things in today's issue is like the apostrophe in the Philosopher's Stone, which is something that's
Okay.
kind of just
Yeah.
like okay, I've never really thought twice about it, but that's kind of like what the issue is about. It's interesting. I don't know. I've never been really that into Doctor Alchemy. I think out of all Flash villains, it's kind of just like, eh,
I
you
mean,
know.
he rips a guy who's made of paper this in this issue, which I thought was kind of brutal.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Alchemy's okay, but it's funny. One of my takeaways from this Flash issue is that Shinnick uses Iris as like the audience, like the question
Yeah.
she asks.
Yeah, basically with the whole chemistry thing.
But yeah, basically Barry is he realizes that the thing about his ring is like goes deeper than he realized. Like it's not just Trickster stealing his ring. Like the ring stuff goes way deep, and it all leads back to Dr. Alchemy. The alchemy reveal little confusing. I think they're gonna flesh it out more next issue, but alchemy being what seemed like two different people.
Yeah, it says he
And
has
then
personality here.
yeah, and then split, and then combining into one at the end there, where Doctor Alchemy will become all powerful.
Has Dr. Alchemy always had split personality?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think what issue it was that had like a full alchemy origin. Yeah,
Well,
I gotta
what is
think
his origin
because
history of the Flash?
alchemy's been around for a while. So in the Silver Age, I think that he had no split personality, but then the modern age they gave him the split personality. Not gonna be wrong on that, but yeah, so he has the split personality. Basically he gets his whole powers from the Philosopher's Stone. He transmutes it,
Okay.
and that's what gives him the very Full Metal Alchemist, right? Transmutation,
Yeah.
Philosopher's
Oh,
Stone. I like
hey, I
that.
was talking to Harper about that today. He called me some bad words. He doesn't like anime, so
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a fan of anime, but that is godly content
yeah,
that Hunter made me watch, and it
Full Metal
is godly.
Alchemist. Yeah. JD, okay, so yeah, I got JD to watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Sorry, off topic for just 1 second. This was
I
like
literally never watched an anime before in my life.
3 years ago or something like that. But I'm like, okay, you just watch like the first 3 episodes of this. It's like 60 episodes, 64 in total, I think, but just watch 3. That's all I want you to watch. And then like a week later, and he's like, "Okay, I finished the whole series."
I was hooked. It was dangerous. It was
It's
good.
really good. It's a really good story.
The first episode, I was kind of just like, I watched it with the subtitles, and I was like, I don't know, this is kind of lame. I don't know if I'm into it. And then I watched the second episode with dub, and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. And then I watched the third episode, I was like, all right, I got to keep going. And then all of a sudden, I was done with the series.
Because yeah, the first episode's like, all right, this is like a fight scene, and it's cool. And the second episode is like, here's the origin, and the third episode, like the story begins. That's why I always say, just watch the first three. First
Did
three,
you
that's
watch?
it.
Did you watch the Netflix adaptation, the live action movie? Because I watched it.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, listen, it's not good, but it's not terrible. Like they actually tried to. I mean, they tried to do too much. They tried to fit like 5 different storylines into a 2-hour movie, but it's kind of faithful in the way it adapts things.
Kind of. Alphonse looked good. He was fully
Yeah, like
CGI.
surprisingly good, right? Like
Yeah. But yeah. Dr.
yeah.
Alchemy.
Dr. Alchemy. Anyway, yeah, Alchemy gets thrown in prison by Flash, and he uses the Philosopher's Stone to transmute, escape, get his powers, and all that good stuff. And him and Flash fight over and over again. And he's fought both Flashes, Barry and Wally. Um, I think there was a story where he had like some twin, but his twin was actually himself, and that was part of the split personality. If
Well, that's
I'm
kind of interesting.
remembering right, yeah.
That's cool.
And I think that's what kind of Shinnick was trying to draw on here, but yeah. So anyway, Dr. Alchemy in this issue, they kind of showcase the split personality, and in the end, they kind of all combine into one. I like this. The split personalities are basically all the designs that he's had in comics, which is kind of cool, like with the big
I didn't
beard and
catch that.
stuff like that. That I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really
and then
cool.
and then with the mask at the end. But yeah, no, I thought that Alchemy was written fine in this issue. I'm kind of curious where they're going with it. It's the whole Alchemy story feels sort of fillery, but also not like that bad fillery. Like it's at least still entertaining, and that's kind of what I asked for.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's still interesting.
I knew following up Williamson was not going to be easy for anyone, and I know that not writing any Flash family was going to be tough because we just got so much Flash family. That's all we want to see. So it's not bad.
It's not terrible.
I've out of the 3 issues, I expected worse. I'll say that I expected worse.
He's on for 2 more, do you think, or?
I think he's doing more than one arc. I know he said he's not staying on long term, but I thought he was doing more than one arc. But I could be wrong here. But I mean, Future State is coming soon, so maybe he's only just doing these issues. But
I mean, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I give it like a 7.
I'm like 7.75. I thought it was it was fine.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
You want to talk Iron Man or Spider-Man first?
We'll do Spider-Man.
What did you think of Spider-Man? So I mean, obviously I've been binging, so
yeah,
I've been getting a lot of story at once. Very interesting stuff going on.
I like it a lot actually, and plus we get that Gleason art, Patrick Gleason.
Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm. I love how he draws Spider-Man's eyes very big. That's always been my preferred look for Spider-Man: big eyes over small eyes. I think that's an unpopular opinion too. I think most people prefer the small eyes, but I like the big ones.
To me, it depends on the artist. I think some artists do very well with the big eyes, Gleason being one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's awesome. I like it a lot. For some reason, because about 4 weeks ago, because this has been a weekly thing, it was revealed that Kindred was bringing dead bodies that affected Peter back, not back from the dead, but just like at a dinner table, which is messed up. People like Gwen Stacy, Flash Gordon, George Stacy, so on and so forth. And I didn't expect Uncle Ben to be one of them. For some reason I didn't. I don't know why. So when it was revealed that Uncle Ben was one of the bodies, like I could feel Peter's rage with him as he like clenched his fist, and you see like just the frustration through his mask as he screams monster and like punches Kindred in the face, and then Kindred beats him up. Really cool art ideas here. Like when he's talking about Kindred is very much a centipede. Like he has centipedes crawling all over him, and he has like basically Dr. Octopus arms, but centipede. Really cool how at one point it showed a spider fighting a centipede. I thought that was a really cool artistic decision there. Really, really awesome. In general, though, I think the main part of the story besides the fight scene is the ending. So for the past little bit, we've had for issues 50 Last Remains, 51 Last Remains, and 50, yeah, I guess those two. The order of the web, so Miles Morales, Spider-Girl, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Madame Web, and Silk have been possessed by demons. Peter's really only had to fight Silk at this point, but it looks like during these demon encounters, they started to kill each other. So Gwen was going to kill Miles, kind of the same way that Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy. So that's interesting that Gwen is doing the same thing that her counterpart died by. I actually just caught that right now as we're kind of flipping through.
You guys are watching it happen on the air, folks.
Yeah, I just noticed that. That's really interesting. Peter decides, hey, let's make a deal, Kindred. Kill me, but save the others. And Kindred straight up was like, okay. He stops the infection, saving the web. Miles is able to save himself, and everyone's back to normal. And the issue ends with Kindred's like, no, about that deal, and then straight up snaps Peter's neck. Like, that's how the issue ends, with Peter's neck being snapped. Obviously, he's not dead, right? But
right?
It's interesting. It's very like, huh, that feels like a finale, but no, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more issues in this arc. So interesting. We know that Doctor Strange and Catwoman are going to be involved with next arc. So, or sorry, I messed up.
Cat, and I got to roast you. Catwoman, what is she coming over from DC Comics? Did they agree on a deal? Secret Crisis is happening.
I messed up, boys. Black Cat. My bad. I know
anybody. You know anybody listening to this podcast right now when you said Catwoman was like, what?
That's what you just did, man. Wow, I messed up. Black Cat, who is different. They are different. They are not the same characters. Black Cat actually has superpowers, and Catwoman does not. Her superpower is people around her have bad luck. Fun fact. So she's the opposite of Domino. It was a good issue. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I had to collect my thoughts there for a minute. I think this arc is really solid. I think it's proving to be Spencer's best arc since probably Hunted, and possibly going to be better.
Yeah.
I think that, the main thing about this arc is that it's benefiting from being built up over years. Like, this kind of feels like, in a sense, it kind of feels like, Spencer's grand finale, which is weird because it doesn't really feel like he's at the end, but
yeah, we haven't got the solicitations from the arcs after this, so maybe it is, but I don't think it will be.
But I'm saying, like, the way that, like, the beginning of the story is like now coming to the end, like this is all coming full circle with what he, was originally writing about. So so I think that, the story's definitely benefiting off of that, and yeah, I think it's just the setup is really paying off, and I'm really curious what's going to happen in the end with the snap neck. I think this issue was really cool too because it had a very big horror element, which I think that comics don't dive deep into enough, at least in the big two, and I think that it's of untapped potential.
Yeah, definitely. Kindred is actually terrifying here.
Yeah,
like just bringing back people that have died in Peter Parker's life and then saying, hey, look, I have dead bodies of people that you killed, kind of thing. It's interesting how he's doing that. He's blaming Peter for their deaths, and which in a way these people would all probably still be alive if Spider-Man didn't exist. So it's interesting, the guilt and then the pain, and then Peter deciding he's going to sacrifice himself to save the other Spider people. Some people that he's not even that close with, like Spider-Girl. This universe is Peter Parker and Spider-Girl aren't that close. He's close with Miles. He's close with Silk, I guess. But that's about it. Even Spider-Woman, I know they're on the New Avengers together, but they're not that close. So it's interesting that he sacrificed himself for that. But it makes sense for Peter Parker to do that. So we'll see what happens. I have no idea what will happen next. So we'll have to wait and see. I give it like a 9.
Yeah, 9 for me too. It was very good.
I'm excited for the next one, which is next week, because this is a weekly series. Iron Man number 3. You have to read this. This is my pick of the week. Holy crap, what a cool idea for a superhero comic. So for those who don't know, that in a nutshell, this Iron Man story, it's only 3 issues in. I highly recommend it. It's about people, not the public, not liking Iron Man, not on the stake of like, rioting and like going to his mansion to like tear it down. We live in an apartment building now, but like knocking his door and saying, "Be like, you suck." Or like the point where they don't care about Iron Man and they just kind of consider him like something that just gets in the way. There's a scene in this book where Iron Man's saving people and he lands in front of a guy, and the guy's just like, "Jesus, watch where you're going. What the hell?" kind of thing, and like walks away. And Tony's like, "I ain't." So the first few pages of this were my absolute favorite. It's basically Tony just doing things here. He's fighting a criminal in the streets, like a costume villain, and police are like, "Okay, guys, break it off, knock it off already." Like they don't really care. They're just like, "Let us do your jobs." One guy, Tony's just walking home, and a guy with a phone goes up to him, like filming him, being like, "Hey Stark, the internet's going on strike because of you. AI rights, right? Right, man?" Like, and Tony's like, "All right, they're just AIs." Tony's fighting a robot, and people are just like, "Stop it! What are you doing?" kind of thing. Or he's getting shot in the face, he's getting beat up, and he's walking home just with his suit all dented and smoking, and people just don't even notice. There's one scene that I thought was very interesting where he's flying by and sees an elementary school and kids are playing soccer. So he goes and he lands by them. And he's like, "Hey kids," and all the kids are like, "Oh my god, it's Iron Man! You're so cool. How do you fly and everything?" And he's like, "Well, let me tell you about magnets," kind of thing. Like Tony just be nice to the kids and are like feeling a suit, being like, "Wow, it's really Iron Man." Teachers come out, and I'll just read what they say. They straight up go up to Tony and say, "Okay, everyone, that's the recess bell. Everyone come back inside. We have a whole afternoon of classes." And Tony's just like, "Can we just have 5 minutes?" And they say, "It's going to take the rest of the day for them to calm down. And I apologize, but all visitors are supposed to sign at the front desk." And then Tony's like, "Well, I just thought it would be fun." And they're like, "For them or for you? Our days are carefully built around structured, fun, centered on learning. We'd love to have you back for a specific activity, but drop ins like this can be very disruptive." And Tony's like, "Okay." He just kind of flies off. This whole story is just how people don't like him. Straight up, a villain just melts his car at one point, and Tony picks him up, homelanders him by flying him into the air and then dropping him and being like, "I can just do whatever I want. I could let this guy die if I wanted." Changes his mind and goes to save him last second, but he's just like, "I have the power to do whatever I want, and people don't care about me." It has some really cool moments and some funny moments too, like him just talking about how people don't like him anymore, and then it cuts to the scene, and this guy says, "Sir, this is a burger hut," and he's like in a restaurant talking to the guy. He's like, "Oh,
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
yeah,
Just
literally,
kidding.
that happens here." So it's funny how they're playing on that joke and just him being so annoyed of life and people not caring and slowly becoming depressed. So there's a fight scene in this too, and the story actually moves forward. But that was my main takeaway from this book, and because of that, I rate this issue a 10. This was a perfect issue, and I am so excited for the next one. This is really good, like a really, really good comic. Everyone go read Iron Man right now. Iron Man 2020. Not Iron Man 2020, but Iron Man year 2020. It's confusing, but the one that's at 3 issues so far. And yeah, that's the comics of the week. We are 53 minutes in, and JD, teach us about CGC.
Okay, yes. So, as some of you may know, I was planning to send in some books for the Jeff Johns signing at CGC Comics. You can see 100 slabs on youtube.com/a hero story. If you're watching us live right now, or not live, I mean watching us on video, Hunter has 4 slabs in his collection. One first appearance,
Yeah, the
and
first appearance of Black Manta.
and then one first crossover, or sorry, 2 first crossovers,
Mhm.
right?
And
First Daredevil
then
and Spider-Man, first Mutant and Avenger, and then the first Marvel annual.
yeah, exactly.
So he's got some cool issues in slabs.
Mhm.
I own 0 slabs. The only thing
Where
behind me is my Marvel and DC vinyl poster, which is actually pretty cool. I got it
Yeah,
at
that's cool.
Target.
It looks
Uh,
like you were in the biggest room ever, and those are the only things there because you're also playing.
I have pictures. I have, like, on the opposite side, I have a Revenge of the Sith poster, and I got my Godfather poster over there. I just have nothing on this wall. This wall's blank, but every
Yeah.
other wall has stuff on it. I swear I'm not living in an insane asylum. Anyway,
Okay.
so I'm planning to send in books to CDC. Originally I was gonna send in well, my original thought was to send in all 3 issues of 3 Jokers, and then My wallet was like, dude, what the hell? So I decided that I still want to send in 3 issues, but I would send in just 1 issue of Three Jokers, and then in addition, I would also send in 2 issues for Jeff, for
Yeah,
just
because
Jeff to
there's a
sign.
signing going on.
Yeah, you could get it for Jeff and Fabok to sign, or you could get it for just Jeff.
Jeff Johns, the writer, Jason Fabok, the artist, and Brad Anderson's also doing this, right? The colorist.
Yeah. For I actually didn't sign up for the Brad Anderson one. I just signed up for the Jeff and Fabok.
Okay.
Save myself $10. Uh, anyway, so I prepped my books yesterday, and I read about this thing called a window bag. Have you ever heard of that?
No, no. When I
So
said my books, I didn't do that.
so it's only when you're getting a signature on it. I
Okay.
read on the CGC website, if you do not send it with a window bag, they will send it back to you, because that is not the way you're supposed to package it. A window bag is essentially a place where the writers can sign. So in the most basic terms, it's a piece cut out of your bag and board where you want the person to sign, so the writer knows where to sign, so they're not just free signing. Now, I was always under the impression that they just sign wherever, so
Yeah,
you actually get to choose where on the comic you want them to sign.
that's
So
kind of cool.
I watched a full YouTube video on this. It was very helpful, but essentially I'm going to try to explain it to you guys. uh, Basically what I did is you take blue painter's tape, like an X-Acto knife or scissor, whatever,
Wait,
whatever
does it have to be blue painter's tape?
it could be any kind of tape. It could be
Scotch?
I mean, not the clear one, but
Gorilla
you know
tape?
like blue painter's tape, go to Home
Elastic
Depot.
tape?
I I don't know. You're naming a lot of tapes.
Could it be like green painter's tape?
Yeah, green would be fine. It's just got to be painter's tape, like that kind of material.
What if it's red?
Again, I don't think it's a problem.
Sorry. Okay, go on.
I don't work for CGC Comics. Anyway, so I got some blue painter's tape, an X-Acto knife, and some extra bags and boards that I had. And basically what you're going to do is cut a hole where you want them to sign and outline it in tape. So what I did was I placed the comic where I wanted, where, in the bag and board. And then I took a marker and a ruler, and I marked on the bag with like a black marker where I wanted the lines to go. So I'm like, all right, on the Batman Three Jokers cover, I want it to be in the bottom left, right below Batman's face. Like, I think that would be the best area for
Yeah.
signing, right?
Okay.
Maybe get him the right damaged right across his forehead.
But then the
Anyway,
request, hey Jeff, can you please write damn?
Jeff, can you please make him like Jared Leto, aka the best Joker? So then once I had my lines drawn on there, I put the tape along the lines, and then I cut. I used the X-Acto knife and I cut. So I took out the comic.
I was gonna ask. Like,
Yeah, don't
that'd be a
leave the
risk.
comic in there while you're cutting, because then you will cut into the comic. But let me just take it out of the bag and board here. So
Just my
so
ultimate Fallout number 4. Oops.
so this is what it looks like, right? My hand go right in there. It's the bag and board. It's like, it's cut open. So once I have like the whole thing cut out, right, I cut out the plastic there, then I put the comic back in, and it lined up perfectly as to where I wanted it. So now when they receive the issue, Jeff can be like, oh, no, I don't know if Jeff will actually say anything, but he can be like, oh, okay, this person wants to sign in the bottom left corner, and now I have the space to do it. So I won't be touching the rest of the book at all. That way it'll keep, it's 9.8 quality.
I
And
hope
I'll
Jeff
just be
says
signing at the
that
bottom.
like exactly word for word. Like, Jeff, you don't have to say that for every single one of these comics.
Right,
This
he's
is
gonna say
number
verbatim.
300. Oh, looks like they want the bottom left. Sorry.
Anyway, so the other 2 issues that I'm planning to send in, well, not planning to, I already paid for it. So the other 2 issues that I'm sending in are Doomsday Clock #1, the Rorschach variant, right here, this beauty, which
Little
also
scarf.
I cut out my thing. And I will also be sending in the first appearance of Zoom, Flash 197, which I also made my cutout here. This one I didn't make as wide. I probably should have made it a little bit wider, but I really wanted the signature to be in the bottom left here, off of Hunter's knee. So, yeah, not your knee, this Hunter's knee.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically what I read online is you got to do the window bag, right? When you get your shipping label, there's a thing that you have to put in the back of the window bag so they know which comic it is. It's like a little cutout thing. It's a piece of paper you put in here. So there's a lot of rules that need to be followed. So,
So
but
you're getting a
the
shipping label?
yeah, they already sent it to me. Like I just paid for the shipping thing on CGC.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I get it.
Yeah. Uh so it'll be in the back here, and then yeah, the shipping, or sorry, the cutout of the window bag is right here, so he can sign right in there, and yeah, it should come out good. Now in the videos that I watched, they recommended once you have it cut out, because this is now exposed as like the cover of the comic, you're gonna want to put it in another bag and board,
Oh, yeah.
or at least just another bag, just so it's covered, that you don't have to worry about it getting any marks on the bare cover here, because I'm touching it right now, just the bare cover of it.
Mhm.
So theoretically damage could be done. The only thing is, it's not going to fit perfectly in another bag and board, because you know two modern bag and boards are like the same size, so it's very tough to get in.
Yeah.
What the guy recommended doing is that, I don't know, you've probably seen it in the comic shop before. They have like Silver Age bags and boards, which are bigger. He recommended getting a few of those. Yeah, because Silver Age comics were slightly bigger, so
Yeah.
getting
I've
those and
seen
just
them
putting it
before.
inside of that. So
Okay.
I'll have to look for that. But he said you could also just take a regular bag and kind of just tape, like take out the board and just like tape it on there, and just write on the tape "remove" so they know to remove it. I mean,
Oh, I did that when I sent in my comics.
you
Just
taped it.
yeah, I taped I like so it was in a bag and board, and then I got two other boards and I like sandwiched it and I taped
Yeah,
it just so
I
then
might
it didn't get damaged.
I might end up doing that with it, just because I don't have any Silver Age bags and
Mhm.
boards. But
Especially for
but
these like the Daredevil comic back there that I have. That's 60s. So it's like made of, like comics today, it has like that smoothness to it.
yeah,
That's straight paper.
yeah,
So I didn't want it to be ruined, so I taped it up. And even then, like I got 3.5. So
yeah.
not the greatest.
I talked to one of the guys that knows CGC pretty well about this, and he said that, because I've read online that some people write on the tape, like on the blue painter's tape, like a little message like, "Oh, gold marker, please," or silver marker,
Oh,
black
cool
marker,
idea.
etc. He said that you don't really have to, because typically, they're signing thousands of books. They know what color is going to look best. They have, all the colored markers in front of them. So unless you really, really, really need, like for example, on my three Jokers cover, they're not going to sign it with a black marker, right? Like, they're just
No, if
they'll
I
sign it.
would request like the pink, like the
Oh,
COC
I was
stickers.
thinking
Yeah.
pink would look good too. Like a pink
Hmm.
marker would be cool. But
Hmm.
well, we'll see. Maybe I'll write that. But the only one I've written on so far is the Zoom one. I wrote on it, best Flash story of all time. Thanks, Jeff, as kind of like a little message to him.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's the window bag. I recommend watching a YouTube video while you do it. That's what I did. It's not very hard. I watched like maybe like a 5-minute video on it. Basically, it's just taking time and
It's just a
cutting
lot. Yeah.
yeah, and making sure, like I used a ruler when I drew the lines, just because I wanted it to be very straight, and I
Hmm.
took my time cutting it. So don't cut the comic while it's in there. Just
Obviously. Yeah.
cut the bag and board after the comic is already out. But
Hmm.
yeah, get your books ready and make sure they are presentable for CGC, because you don't want CGC to reject you and you end up losing your spot. So
Hmm.
I will be sending in these three hopefully within the next week. I am terribly worried about sending in my books, because I don't trust the mail. I just think it's so scary to have my books, not in my hands, but I will be trusting the mail. I mean, you did it. How nerve-wracking was it? I mean, you don't see it for weeks, right?
Months. It took me 2 months. But I was told to take 3 months. So I was pleasantly surprised when they arrived. Um, you track the whole time. So on CGC's website, when you send, go on their website and say sent.
Submission tracker, yeah.
Yeah. From there, it tracks your shipping, and it's pretty detailed too. So there's a few steps that they go through, and I checked it every day when I sent mine. Step one is like, okay, it's there, and then suddenly you get step two where it's there, it's arrived, they have it, and it's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then from there, they go through steps like, we're grading it now, and it's been graded, and now we're putting the slab. It's been slabbed, and we're sending it back, kind of thing. So you can watch it there. I assume for you, you'll have the it's been signed kind of thing. Because
Yeah.
do you know what date they're signing?
I don't know. I know at some point in December, or yeah, I think it's December, because they have like their final like send in date is sometime in December. So
Oh, geez. Okay, I got some mind because I want the Doomsday Clock one. I mean, that's first appearance of my
the the the
marionette, and
the same one as me, the Rorschach cover.
I'm gonna get the same one. Yeah, because I have
You
that one.
have that cover?
I do. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
mine is in pristine condition. I haven't even actually read this copy. I read my other copy, so
Oh,
this
I
hasn't
read.
even been opened.
Dang it! I read mine cover. You're gonna get like a 9.8, and I'm gonna get like a 3.5. uh,
Oh, I was wondering, did you know the grade? Like, did you check it online before you got it, or was it a surprise when you got it?
it was a surprise when I got it.
Okay, because I
I
know
don't
some
know. I
people
don't think
check.
there is a way even to check.
No, you can check the grades online.
Oh,
You can see it tells you what you got. That's where you get like the grader's note and all that.
oh,
Like
right, yeah.
basically, like, oh, we thought the spine was really damaged, so that lost a point, and the inside had a stain, like stuff like that will be in the
Yeah,
notes
I got
there.
that back when I got the
I
clock.
was thinking about not looking at the thing online, just getting surprised when I actually open it. I was planning to make a video for the Comic Book Hunters account where it'll be like me opening the package and like showing it to the camera, like
Oh,
whatever the grade
unboxing.
is, and guessing like, all right, I think this one's gonna be a 9.8, and then my either disappointment or
The turnaround.
excitement.
It's like, wait, 4?
4.0. This book came out this year.
I didn't even read it.
My hope at least is that I'm coming back with at least two 9.8s. I got to think that my Doomsday Clock is in quite pristine condition. I mean, I certainly don't see anything wrong with it. Obviously, I haven't opened the insides. My three Jokers, I don't know. It's weird. It has like little marks here and there that I'm not sure if they just happen to exist on the cover. The thing I've heard about CGC comics is that all black covers are hard to get high grades on because when it's dark like that, you could really see any little defect here and there. So we'll see how this one ends up turning out, but I hope this one's also 9.8. As for my Flash Blitz, so the site that I bought it from, I bought it on eBay, and this guy who was selling on eBay clearly bought it off of My Comic Shop, which is a very good website. You've used it before. Uh, the grade that My Comic Shop gave it was a 7.5. In my opinion, I think it's better than a 7.5. The cover is flawless. There's really nothing wrong with it. The only defect that I found on it was on the back. There was a little bit of a stain, just a little bit, nothing too big, but I think that would definitely drag it down at least a point. I'm hoping if this one could crack 9.0, I would be very happy. But yeah, anything above 8.5, I'd be happy. So
Fair enough.
we'll see about the Flash 197.
We'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, and then let us know on the podcast too how it goes as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll probably post a full video of like my reaction, and you can see me like, what?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
yeah, but yeah. So that's that's my CGC
And
adventures up.
one little thing to let the people know that are listening in case they don't know. For CGCs on the top, it's kind of hard to tell on YouTube right now, but just because I have them in the background. But so you get your score. The best score you can get is technically a 10, but it's like never happened
It's like
almost.
impossible. Even the 9.9s are basically impossible.
But it's in a color, so they're all in blue. For signatures, though, they're in gold, which is really cool.
Yep.
If you got something signed and you're like, oh man, I have this signed copy, I'm going to send to CGC. They will grade it as green, which basically just means someone wrote on it. You need proof that you
A
got this.
certificate of authenticity, unless they saw it.
Yeah, exactly. If they signed and some members of CGC were there watching your writer or artist or colorist or letterer or editor, whoever signed this, they would give you a certificate being like, this is proof. When you send your comic, send this certificate with it. So my good friend Thomas, Superhero Fix, writer of Stride and Stride Underworld and so on and so forth, he gave me The Death of the Mighty Thor by Jason Aaron signed with the with a
Certificate of
certificate.
authenticity.
So when I eventually send that in, it will get graded with the gold label, which is awesome.
You plan to send that in eventually?
Yeah, eventually. One thing about CGCs is it's a little pricey at times. So
The modern books is not too bad though, right?
no, it's not too bad. It's just in general.
Like for me, yeah, it was definitely expensive. The signature series is expensive. So for those of you thinking like, Jeff Johns and Faye Bach are doing a signing, maybe I'll send something in. To get them to sign your book, just the two of them, $120. To if you want to add in Brad Anderson, the colorist, 130. And there's a little bit of extra fees in there. I think like total for just the 3 Jokers was like 130. If you just want Jeff to sign your book, $80.
Whew.
A little steep. I had thought it was 60, but it's 80. So
That's
um
like 600 in Canada dollars.
basically for my 3 books, the total was $310. So a little over $100 average on each, which is a little tough. But listen, I view this as an investment. I think the Flash 197 will forever be in my collection, and I think that's going to be a fantastic piece to always have on my wall. I think the Rorschach and Batman are both going to look so good with the signatures. I'm very excited to get those back, and hopefully they're 9.8s. They may also end up being trade bait one day. They may end up being one of those things where, down the line, let's say I'm trying to get some key issue that I really want, and I'm trying to sweeten the deal a little bit. I'll be like, oh, I'll offer my 3 Jokers #1 CGC 9.8. And a lot of people do that. They trade slabs. Our good friend Comics Kings just did a trade. He told me I don't know if you saw it on his story. He had Mr. Miracle 1 in a
Yeah.
9.8 slab.
Yeah, I saw that.
He traded, I think he said the first appearance of Far Sector and maybe the first appearance of Punchline or one of the newer Batman people. It was a few
really?
modern. It was like a pair of modern keys. That let me see if I could.
Those can be hard to find.
Oh no, he
Yeah.
said he traded first Far Sector and the first Robin King, which is just that Dark Knight's metal tie-in. So
Okay.
those two for Mr. Miracle #1 and 9.8 is a pretty good deal, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
Robin King, who the hell cares? And Far Sector, I mean, I guess is probably getting bigger, but still,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's
not a
worth
bad
a
trade.
lot.
So, but it does show that you could trade for slabs and stuff, especially if you kind of know the people. So,
Mm.
so yeah, that's why I think that either way, it's going to be good for me to have, and probably for you as well. I mean, the ones that you're sending in as of right now, Justice League 50 and Doomsday Clock.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. I do kind of want 3 Jokers too, though. The Batman cover that you're doing. But yeah, Justice League 50
Well,
and
now you put in my head of getting that pink marker, and I'm like, shit, that's
yeah,
gonna
that
be
looked
good.
nice. So that's why I'm like, Uh, thinking about it. But yeah, another thing with these CGCs for those interested, if you have any first appearances, they could go for a lot of money. You could be one of the richest people in the world if you own Amazing Fantasy #15, the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Though you probably don't.
You probably don't, but maybe your grandparents do and they don't realize it. Boom, you're rich. Or you have something incredible that you'll decide to keep. If I had Amazing Fantasy, that'd be difficult to sell. Just because I wouldn't want to give it away.
I think, God, that's so hard. I mean, we all put ourselves in that situation. I don't know what I would do. I mean, obviously, I would get it
prefer
slabbed right
it.
away. I would
Yeah,
be
me too.
that would be the most nerve wracking to send in the mail. Fuck that. I'd fly down to Florida
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say I probably want to go there.
go to CGC in person. I'll be there while they grade it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I've thought about that before. Like if I had like first Spider-Man or first Batman or first Superman, like one of those like ultra rare, like ultra valuable issues, would I sell
Worth
it or
millions of dollars.
would I sell it or would I keep it? It's a hard debate.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
you could literally like buy a house with that money. You can buy a house and a car with that money for
More than
any of
that,
those issues.
you could buy a mansion and
You can buy a mansion, a house. You can buy a mansion, a car, and have money left over.
like a Lamborghini. Yeah, like they're worth an insane amount of money. And even
So
then, get first appearances. That's why I'm buying future state issues. Even modern
fair.
appearances can be worth a lot of money. Punchline's first appearance came out less than a year ago, I believe. Yeah, definitely less than a year ago. And the 9.8 is already worth $220. I own that issue. I paid $3 for it. It's already worth 220. The Batman and Laughs. If you own a Teen Titans Rebirth issue, you might own the first
Teen
appearance of
Titans
Batman and
12.
Laughs. Teen Titans 12. I have it.
God, I hate that.
Batman and Laughs. I don't like the character. I don't like the issue, but I have the issue, and it's worth over I think $700 now, which is insane. First appearance of Miles Morales came out in 2011, already going for over $1,000. So
Yeah, and you never know what's going to take off. I mean, I just grabbed this past fall, no, even this past summer, I grabbed Static Shock #1, the first appearance of Static Shock in comics, or first appearance of Static in comics I grabbed it for $1, and it's already up over 100 with the announcement that they're going to be making a static movie. So,
And the more
uh,
of appearances, the higher it goes. Miles Morales, the video game, came out this week. I haven't checked, but I feel like his first appearance, which is Ultimate Fallout number.
when the video game was announced, his first appearance skyrocketed. That's what got it over the $1,000 mark. So
Because
between that
originally
and
it was
Spider-Verse,
like, because he was already a popular character right off the bat, a lot of people liked him. Um, Miles's first appearance after about a year was maybe $200. Then Into the Spider-Verse happened and it skyrocketed.
I was gonna say, put it into perspective. Before Into the Spider-Verse, you could get Miles's first appearance for anywhere between 100 and $200. It was a little pricey, but honestly not much. Now it's worth over 1,000. So some
Into the
comics
Spider-Verse.
skyrocket. Some comics
He was
skyrocket,
name
some don't.
dropped in Homecoming and then his video game. And I guarantee within the next 10 years, we'll see him in the MCU, which will make it skyrocket even more.
I wish I owned a copy of Ultimate Fallout 4.
It's one of my most wanted, honestly. I feel like I might get it one day.
It's Well, I don't know about buying it straight up, but
No.
it is. I think it is something that you could find on the hunt, because it's something that's not like it's not a number one, so people don't always realize that it's rare. So
because it's number
and
4.
yeah, 4, and it's
Yeah.
also actually not that rare. I mean, they printed a lot of copies of it because it's a modern comic. So yeah,
But it's
there's
gonna be rare in like 30 years from now and worth a lot, knowing what's happening with Miles. Within just 9 years alone, Miles is so popular. So we'll have to wait and see. That's why, like, I get first appearances of modern characters, because you never know. Even Naomi, like Young Justice, I'm from Another Earth, Naomi by Brian Michael Bendis. Her first
Naomi number
appearance,
one is so expensive.
her first appearance, I think, is in the 500s. I'm pretty sure, which is
That's
weird
crazy.
because I didn't think she was that popular, but apparently,
Yeah.
just it's because Bendis made her.
Yeah.
And Bendis
Well,
made,
yeah. I mean, I wish I owned that first Batman Who Laughs. Not that I could care less about Batman Who Laughs, but I would resell it so quick. I mean, I would take that.
I should
Think
do
about
that.
what you could do with that $700. Like, what other comics you could buy? Oh my god!
Or a PlayStation 5.
Or a PlayStation 5. Listen,
Yeah,
it's
that's
an
a
investment
good
money
point.
right
I didn't
there.
think of that. Oh, maybe I'll get slabbed and then sell it.
Turn it into a 9.8 and then sell it.
Because I've read it once and it's bag and boarded right now. So
yeah, you better keep that safe.
I got
protected at
Hell's
all costs.
Horizon number 3 as well, which is Punchline's first appearance. So
Yeah, that and Batman 89. Yeah, there's a lot of
I have them
comics to be
both.
sold there. So yeah, look through the modern keys, look through the collector's edition stuff, and yeah, keep your eyes poached. And yeah, do the 3 if you want to do the Jeff signing, definitely do it. This is gonna be my first slabs ever. I'm extremely excited for it. I getting that back is gonna be so awesome. And even if I don't get the grades I want, like I don't care. It's just gonna be so cool to open that and be like, oh my god, I own 3 slabs and 3 awesome looking slabs. So
Yeah, with the gold signature and everything. That would be cool.
it's gonna be cool. Expect a reaction video at some point when I get it back in. I'm assuming 2021. I'm
Something like
guessing
that.
some point in January or February. So
Yeah, I wish I got into this sooner, to be honest. I kick myself just thinking, why did I not get into the CGC sooner? Because I got into them last year.
I love that you're becoming such a different comic collector now. You're getting into the CGC, you're getting into the trades. Like, old Hunter wouldn't even recognize you.
Yeah, Old Hunter was like, oh, modern comics only, single issues only. I've read Batman Hush, that's all I need. And now I'm just like, wow, I'm gonna read literally every Daredevil book ever made. And I'm gonna read every Avengers book from 2000 up. How about I just read every Miles Morales, every Thor book? And I'm like, why do I do this? I do it in trade, and then I hunt CGCs, and I'm like, kick myself because I'm like, I had too many good opportunities to get first appearances, because I was collecting comics in 2011. That's when I like first started superhero comics. That's when Ultimate Fallout came out, and I didn't care. I didn't care. I don't know why.
You could have gotten it for $2.
In
Or $3.
2016, I was at Calgary Comic Convention, and Stan Lee was there, and I met him, and I got a picture with him, and it was awesome. And then an hour later, I could have gone and got a signature with him, and CGC was there, and I didn't, because I'm like,
what would you have had him sign?
Well, I didn't have any Stan Lee books, that's why I didn't. But if
I know that I know people have him sign anything. Like, they'll have him sign Spider-Man issues that he has nothing to do with, but just because he's Stan.
Yeah, like I was like, well, what could I get him to sign? I have a few Spider-Man issues, but they're not by him. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just get the picture and I'll be happy with that. And I am happy with that. I'm glad I got to meet him. But man, I wish I could time travel back in time and like slap young teenage Hunter in the face and be like, look, you have a part-time job and you're in high school. Here's what you're gonna do, Hunter. You're in grade 12. You are going to go and you're going to spend that money that you're earning from working at that trampoline park, and you are going to buy like a really rare Stanley Spider-Man issue or something like that. You're gonna spend like $600 on this issue, and it's gonna be okay because then you're gonna meet Stanley and you're gonna to sign it, and then you're gonna grade it, and we are gonna be rich, Hunter. And young Hunter be like, well, who are you? Why are you hitting me? Why is your hair long? And I'll be like, stuff happened for the next 4 years.
How do I know it's the real you, Hunter? Timmy's. Oh my God, it is the real you.
No, young Hunter was into French vanillas at Timmy's. Now old or 22-year-old
The
Hunter
double
is into double
double.
doubles.
What?
Yeah, I'm into double doubles now. It's better than triple triples. Some people have triple triples, and that's like, ooh.
I don't
Double doubles.
speak Canadian, but Jesus.
Yeah, I got last night I went to Timmy's and I paid for 20 Timbits and I only got 10. And I didn't
What's
realize that till
Timbit?
I got home. Timbits are like little, almost like bite-sized donuts. They're like little balls.
Oh, like Munchkins, like the Dunkin'.
Munchkins.
You have Dunkin' Donuts or no?
No, we don't. I've had Dunkin' Donuts
Oh, okay.
before and it was not good.
Dunkin' Donuts is essentially not essentially, but kind of like the American Tim Hortons. You know, it's a coffee place that there's.
I know
one
it's
on,
a coffee place.
that there's one on like
Power
every
Rangers.
street, and it's got donuts and all that. And yeah, they have regular donuts, and then they have these like little bite-sized ones called Munchkins. So
Really?
yeah, so I guess that's your version.
Well, are they like? There's different flavors, right?
Yeah, like you get like frosted or jelly or chocolate or powder.
Yeah, because we have stuff like that too. Oh my God, yeah, these are Timbits, but they look bad.
They're not great. I mean, it's in my opinion, all the food at Dunkin' Donuts is not good.
Yeah, I tried Dunkin' Donuts. I went to a Dunkin' Donuts in Australia in February, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so good. I keep hearing the hype, and it wasn't good. I was like, oh,
there should be no hype. It's very mediocre food.
yeah, like this is where it's at. That's what a Timbit is, and that's the Timbit box right there. It was a good.
Why did you only get 10 of your 20?
I don't know. I paid for 22 because I had the receipt, and I got home and I like sat down and I opened it up. And I'm like, there's only 10 in here. I didn't pay for refund. 10. Yeah, I didn't want to drive all the way back to Timmy's and be like, give me a refund because it was late. And I was like, I'll just eat these 10. Then. It's whatever.
Wow, so your pain started long before the PS5. It started with
because I went there to get a coffee because I was gonna be up late to get the PS5. All right, let me tell you about that real quick in the one episode. I really want a PS5 to play Miles Morales, and I'm like, man, I think I could actually get this. I feel like I got this. So I heard that I called stores ahead of time. I called every store in my area.
And you work at Best Buy, no? Like you couldn't put one on the side for yourself?
I have, yeah. So no, you can't. But yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna call places ahead of time. So I'm gonna name some places that maybe America doesn't even have. I called Walmart. I called Costco. I called Best Buy. I called The Source. I called Shoppers Drug Mart. I called London Drugs.
I haven't heard of the last three.
I called EB Games.
EB Games sounds familiar, but I don't know The Source.
I feel like EB Games is pretty familiar. I called all those, and all of them gave me the either we don't know or yeah, they'll be on our site at 1 a.m. So I'm like, all right, 1 a.m. 1 a.m. comes, and I refresh the page. I had every single store page on tabs fresh, and it crashes. Every single page crashes because everyone's trying to get it. So everyone's trying. So I'm trying so hard, and I tried up until 3 a.m. And I was messaging comic boy Tyler and Harper. He was awake because he lives in like a mystical realm where there is no sleep at nighttime. But yeah, I was messaging them, and we're trying, and we're sending each other just pictures of ourselves with the caption pain. And Eunice too, Real Flash, he did a live video, and I watched it too of him trying, and it was just playing like Frank Ocean, and he just had sunglasses on and just was silent the whole time. That was very funny, but pain. And then at 3 a.m. I'm like, okay, I need sleep. I'll try again in the morning because I feel like they'll be up in the morning. Because I know the Xbox, I saw the Xbox was live in the morning, but I'm not trying to get that. So I went to sleep, and I woke up at 7 a.m. and I went on, and they're available, and I added to my cart on Best Buy, and I added to my cart EB Games, and I went checkout, and both of them crashed. So I bought it on PS4. I bought Miles Morales on PS4. I'm having a blast. But
Now, when do you think you'll be able to get PS5?
well,
Is this something that could be like a week? Is this something that could be like a month?
I'm thinking like it's possible to get in a week if I want to force myself through the pain again and possibly get it. Because I know people that I live in the same city as I do that got it from this morning or last night. I was
Mhm.
getting like Snapchats and everything, be like, "Oh, just got it," and I'm like, "Shut up." But so it's possible. So I think restocks are happening every week. So if I try again next week, I think I can. But I'm kind of less motivated now that I have Miles Morales. A little bit less motivated, and plus I'll get it eventually. Eventually it'll be in stores easily, and everyone could get it. But you
Yeah.
go to a store today, and be like, I'll get an Xbox One, and there it is. So I, I mostly want it for Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok, and those aren't coming for a while. So
Well, for me, when I got PS4, I was loving the PS3, and PS4 had gotten announced, and I was like, damn, they're really making a new console. Like, I'm trying to rock out PS3. Anyway, PS4 gets made, and PS4 launches. I have nothing to do with launch. I don't try to get it or whatever. I was still skeptical of it, and there was nothing out at the time. There were like 3 games out, and I was like, do I really need to get the new system for that? Like, one of my buddies got it on launch day, but then he was still playing PS3 with us because all his friends were on PS3, so he wasn't gonna go play PS4 alone. So it was probably like a good maybe like 3 months or so, maybe longer, because it was 2014 at this point, right? It launched 11 November 2013.
okay, yeah.
It's 2014 now, maybe like mid 2014 too. So it's been probably like 6 months maybe since the launch,
Mhm.
and I finally got it. I got it with a bundle with the game Destiny, which I thought was going to be good and was not good. Uh,
You
but
offended some people.
PS4 is kind of nostalgic for me because it's the first system that I bought like with my own money. So like PS3 and PS2 were like gifts from
Gifts.
my parents when I was a kid. PS4 came out when 2014, so I was 14 at this point, and I was buying and I was working. And I remember this is when I first started working. Like, I just got my working papers, and I just was working for the first time, like my first job. And my first, like, I think like 4 or 5 paychecks all went into me getting the PS4. Like I can remember making like $60 in a week, and I'm like, oh my god, I can get it now. Like, it was like such like a nostalgic feeling. And yeah, like it's like looking back at that, like, puts like a little tear in my eye. But now it's like PS5, I kind of feel the same way I felt with PS4, where it's like I have nothing to do with the launch. It could be a month till I get it. It could be 6 months till I get it. Like, I'm not really in the rush.
I'm not in a rush anymore either.
Especially
I
like
was.
like you mentioned, like any game that I want that's gonna come out on PS5 isn't gonna come out for a while. So I got time to wait. Not that I think they're gonna drop
Miles,
in
but it's
price,
on
but
PS4. So
yeah, if it wasn't releasing on PS4, that'd be a different thing.
because then you'd be hunting with us. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
would
yeah,
be.
I
I
feel
would
you
have
on
been
that
in
one.
the pain last night.
I mean, I just got my PS4 2 years ago too. I was new to the PlayStation experience. I've never had a PlayStation before. I got it just for Spider-Man 2. I played the exclusive. Don't worry. I played God of War and Last of Us and all that.
So now
But
you were Xbox forever. Now you're on the PlayStation side for good.
yeah, probably. I mean, I really like Halo, so maybe I'll get it eventually for Halo Infinite. I'm a huge Halo fan, but that's about it for Xbox. For PlayStation, like I'm one of the few people that I don't care about online. To be honest, I don't play online. All my friends that live in my city, they all play online together like every night, and I never enjoyed online for the most part.
I
I'm
mean,
not
you
the
you don't play like Call of Duty or anything like that, like any like the
no,
big
and
like
even then, I
online
say I love
games.
Halo, but I love it for Master Chief. I love it for the story. I love the campaign. I like the story they're going on, but I love solo, deep, rich.
Oh.
Yeah, every night in the shower. I like those solo, deep, rich, emotional, story-based games. That's what I like. I love Red Dead 2. I love Last of Us. I love Last of Us 2. I love God of War. I like Spider-Man PS4, and that's why I got the PS4 because you got those exclusives with those perfect storytelling moments. I'm so excited for God of War Ragnarok, and if they make Last of Us 3, I don't think they will, but if they do, it'll be on PlayStation. So that's what I like about that. So Xbox, yeah, you got Gears of War, I don't care, but I like Halo. But even then, I even consider myself more of a Nintendo guy, if anything. I'm one of the few
Oh,
people out there. I
right.
love all
The
Nintendo
Switch.
games. Yeah. And my first console was a GameCube, and I got a Nintendo 64 later on the line, and then I got the Wii U, Switch. I like all, well, Wii U kind of sucked, but I like all Nintendo systems. My favorite game series ever is The Legend of Zelda, and I love competitive Super Smash Bros. I watch that on Twitch all the time, and I play myself. So yeah, I like that kind of games, solo games, and then like fighting games or party games, whatever you consider most of Nintendo games. I don't play Call of Duty at all. I
Interesting.
played Black Ops Zombies a lot though, like the first Black Ops Zombies. Every
There you
once in a while,
go.
my brother and I we go in there and we just do split screen. Like I think we did that like a
Split screen
month
is
ago.
terrible for zombies. So hard to
Yeah,
play, but
yeah. About a month ago, my brother and I we played split screen Black Ops One Zombies Kino, and it was a blast. That's
very
that's the
very
only
nostalgic.
that's the only Call of Duty we actually own. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I was on PlayStation like from very early on. Like I can remember going to my cousin's house and playing like Crash Bandicoot on like PlayStation like 1, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, PlayStation 2, Crash Bandicoot, more Crash Bandicoot. I can remember going over to my cousin's house and playing Spider-Man 2,
Yeah.
like the delivering the pizzas and shit, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is fucking awesome.
Da-da, da-da,
Um
da-da, da-da,
then
da-da,
and then I
da.
and then I can remember, getting my PS3 was really cool because it was like the first system that like I kind of owned to myself. And then, you know, I rode that one until the wheels fell off. I love PS3, and then PS4 came out, and I was like, okay, like this is the upgrade. Like all my friends eventually got it, so I was like, all right, we're all getting it, whatever, I'll get it.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been pretty good as well. I think it's PlayStation 4 is pretty cool, and now it's kind of crazy to think like it's on to the next one. It's on to PlayStation 5. Like
Mhm.
it's like every 7 years, I guess, but still, it's like, wow, this is kind of nuts.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I'm glad I'm sticking with PlayStation, and they seem pretty reliable. I for like the PlayStation 3 time when you're playing PlayStation 3, I was playing Wii, but also Xbox 360. I had that for Halo. And then I got day one Xbox One. My mom
Oh,
actually had
oh,
a bit of,
really?
yeah, my mom had a gig where she worked for Microsoft's marketing team. So she was able to help kind of get a day one Xbox One,
That's
which is
amazing.
cool. I got a t-shirt that says day one and it has the Xbox logo that I don't know where it is anymore. But I have the first one, and the last game I bought for it. I don't play Xbox that often. I was always just go back to Nintendo or PlayStation 4 once I got that. The last game I got for Xbox One was Injustice 2, and I remember when I first started playing it, the Xbox was like it was gonna blow up because it's the day one Xbox. like oh god. And then I looked it up and like, why is it doing this? And everyone's like, well, if it's the day one Xbox, there's a lot of problems. Like, oh,
That's funny.
that explains it. So yeah, then I
So
got
maybe it's
PlayStation
better
4.
that you didn't get the day one PlayStation 5, so one day it won't make the noise.
Yeah, because at first I don't remember that happening for the day one Xbox. There was the only game. It was like Rise. I think that was the only game I had, or I had like a zombie game that came out. But yeah, maybe it is good. But I feel like they fixed those problems now. I don't know if day one PS4 does the same thing, but
I mean, I have a pretty original PS4, obviously, because I got it within 6 months of launch. And when I turn it on to do anything, it sounds like a turbo engine. So,
you gotta
it's
turn up Miles Morales when you go to play that.
oh boy, yeah. When I go to play Miles, I'm even downloading Miles. I'm sure it's going to be sounding like a turbo engine, but yeah. So I don't know. PS5 should be cool. I'm kind of looking forward to the next gen.
Me
But
too.
my friend's trying to get me to get a PC instead, and I'm like, nah, man, it's
Yeah,
gotta be.
okay, yeah. I recommend it, but I also understand if you don't. It's great for gaming. I built a PC in grade 9. I
Oh,
saved
really?
my cash money from my first job, Walmart, for 2 months. I worked there 2 months and
Yeah.
I didn't pay for anything. I just saved my money. I bought a watermelon. That was it. I just saved for a gaming PC. Yeah, that was the first thing I bought.
I've heard the story of this watermelon, and I still don't really get it. But
Yeah, that was the only thing I bought with my Walmart money. But I saved my money for a gaming PC, and I built one. I had some friends come over that had PCs, and we built one together out of scraps and junk. I used the base as my mom's old work computer because my mom was moving at the time. So she's like, "You can have this. It's bad." I'm like, "Well, I'll just make it good then." So I put in a graphics card and like a fan, and it got to the point where it was really bad, but I was really forcing myself through. I was downloading so many games, modded Skyrim, and this was like when Skyrim was first coming out. So that was like a
yeah,
massive game. And like modded Fallout New Vegas. And eventually you got to the point I played Saints Row 3 a lot too, but it started to like crackle. inside. Like here, like, and I looked it up. It's like if that's happening, that means like a fire could light in there.
Oh,
And for some
yikes.
reason, I was like, oh, it's fine. It's not gonna happen. So I remember I kept playing it, and then suddenly I was playing Saints Row the Third with my friend. Remember that game? And then my
Yep.
screen just goes black, and then it goes blue. I'm like, what's going on? And I was playing online. I was like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I don't hear any reply back. And then I hear happening again, and then smoke starts to come out my PC.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what's going on? And I like put my hand on it, and it was hot to the touch. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
God.
no. And so idiot Hunter panicking home alone, like 15 years old or something like that, decided to do the stupidest thing in the world. And it was night too. I remember. I think my parents might have been sleeping, but I didn't want to wake them. My dad works nights. He's a firefighter, so he was night shift, and I didn't want to wake my mom.
Ironic that your dad's a firefighter
Yeah,
during
it
all of
wasn't here for
this.
this. I've burnt a few things in my house. I almost burnt my house down a few months ago. But I
Oh,
was
God.
and I grabbed water and just chucked it at the PC, which
Oh,
just made it go
God.
like and like evaporate in the air because it was so hot, and the whole thing was like and I just started dumping cups of water on it, and now I don't have a gaming PC anymore. I didn't unplug it. Why didn't I unplug it? Because I feel like that would have stopped, and then I could have just sold the parts, but instead I ruined it by throwing water.
I like that your first reaction is, let me get a glass of water and just douse my entire computer, not thinking about the parts inside, not thinking
Yeah,
about it.
I was
Like,
panicking because
like
there's
this
like
will solve.
steam
Like
coming out.
15-year-old Hunter was like, if I pour this glass of water on it, I'll be able to play the game. I'll be able to get back into Saints Row.
Yeah. Like, oh, I can play Saints Row again. No, I'm pretty sure I knew it was dead by that point.
Oh,
I texted my
God.
friend like, "Hey man, I can't play Saints Row the Third anymore tonight. Sorry." But yeah, I now my computer that I'm using now for this podcast is fairly decent, so I could play Skyrim on here with medium graphics. So that's not bad. But I will never play Saints Row the Third again without those memories and fear of hearing a clicking noise. I remember because the noise sounded like I had an alarm clock, and this was like before you use your phone for alarm, and to wake me up in the morning it would make a click before going like so click and
Mhm.
then wait a few seconds, and it reminded me of that. So every time in the morning when I wake up from the click over the alarm, and my heart will like skip a beat.
Do
Where's
you
the
think it's a
fire?
fire?
Yeah.
Oh, God, this podcast episode has taken an extreme left turn.
We're still recording.
We've just been bullshitting for the past like 50 minutes.
Should we end it or
I guess this is the end. If anyone is somehow still listening, why? We've been babbling like morons for the
I'll
last.
tell my almost lighting my house on fire a few months ago for another time. How about that?
There you go. If you're somehow still listening and
Stay
want
tuned.
and you want Hunter to tell that story, DM us.
Just I'll just tease it to add suspense to people curious. It was less than a year ago, and several firefighters broke my door down.
Oh, God, I need to hear the story. Oh wait, okay. If you're somehow still listening and you want to hear that story like I do,
I was home
send us a
alone too,
message.
but
Send us a message on a hero story. And yeah, thanks for listening to a hero story. This podcast is very random sometimes. We talk comics and we talk video games and we talk
yeah, this became
fire,
like a
apparently.
gaming podcast and like a dumb moment podcast. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, anyway, if you're listening on iTunes, we appreciate a 5-star review or whatever you think we're worth, because we go on for hours and hours.
Mhm.
If you are listening anywhere else, we appreciate a follow or subscribe. For Hero Story, I'm JD.
I'm Hunter, and thanks for being a hero.
And remember, every second is a gift. Goodbye.
Blah.